Hi guys, going through my junk pile, as I keep saying in these videos. This is my old DashCam or car camera, which works. I did buy a new one, and that's the one I currently use. This is the old one. It has a BL5C battery in it, which is the same that my old Nokia phone used to have, I think it was. This one's a little bit bulgy. This is what I'm interested in. It's got infrared lights on the fronts for using it in the dark. It's also got motion sensor, which is on. Battery doesn't last very long, so we might have just enough time to do a little demonstration. Oh, it goes straight into record mode. I don't know if you can see the red light flashing there. So we can stop that. Anyway, menu, and if we go down through that little lot, no, the next one then, setup menu it must be. Oh, I must have missed it. Back to where we were. I missed it somewhere. Oh, I did. I stepped straight over it. Timestamp, motion detect. Can we see that at all? So I can set it up to do motion detection. So if I press that button, I can say motion detection is switched on. Okay, it stores the video clips in 1 minute segments. You can change that to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, but I'll leave it on 1 minute. We can have the audio as well. Don't think there's anything else I'm particularly interested in there. So get out of this somehow. Okay, so we're back here, and if I press this button, it goes into night mode. So it's actually, I don't know if we can see them. Oh, there we are. So turn them off, turn them on. So that's actually infrared lights, so it can record in the dark. And I'm wondering if I can use it for looking at little animals in the garden. Well, whether I use it in the dark or the daylight doesn't really matter. But there's a couple of problems with trying to use it. First problem is it's actually expecting to be suspended from above rather than sitting on top of the tripod. Not too bad. I could invert the recorded video in my editor. But if I want to use the timestamp on it, which I was thinking of doing, then it puts the timestamp upside down. So let's just move the camera a bit. So what I'm looking at is this little cheap tripod I picked up in a charity shop for £2.99, and I've been using it for my mobile phone. But I'm wondering if I can take this off, put it on the other way around, turn it so it's upside down. And we've got the bracket on the bottom. I'll just tighten that one up. So I should be able to put that on there. I was looking at all sorts of complicated things, thinking of 3D printing and that sort of thing. And then I looked at this and I thought, well, I do believe that'll do the job. Some of my tripods have actually got another bolt on the bottom there, so you can actually attach a camera upside down underneath the tripod. But this one, yeah, it'll work that way. Although probably want it pointing the opposite way, otherwise my hand's in the way when I'm trying to do things. Let's just change that. And the other way. So there we are. That drops down, and that's exactly the same as sitting on top of my dashboard. There's that button to switch on. I think, oh no, battery's still running just. That battery lasts for, yeah, not very long. Yeah. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is making a dummy one of these, so I can actually plug in there to the contacts in there. A dummy one with wires coming out the back, so I can have an external 1S LiPo battery, because that's what this is, 3.7 volts. And then I can have a bigger external battery. So that's another little thing I'll look at. I could use the USB lead and charge it from a external power bank. I just rather like the idea of making a dummy one of these and putting that in there. So that's something else I'm looking at. Just to demonstrate, I can run it off an external power bank. Or at least I could. I think that one's flat. I've just dug it out of the box. So let's start up. I think, oh no, I was just going to say it's too flat. There we go, it does fire up. So I could run it off an external power bank. Although it looks like that plug's loose. I think that's what was happening there. Or, I'll say plan A at the moment is to modify that so I can sit a big battery on top of it. Right, so this is plan A. This is my 3D printed dummy battery. So the plan is to put a couple of little metal plates around the end there and then attach a JST lead to it so I can plug a normal LiPo battery in. Seems to be a long-winded way of doing it, but let's see. Well, it fits. So the principle's there, and then what I'll do is I will melt a little hole in the back here, or cut a little hole, so the tail of the battery can, or the tail of the dummy battery can hang out, and then we can plug in another battery. But you might notice I'm just looking at another possibility. These power pods, these batteries, which I have been corrected, I've been calling them LiPo batteries, but they're actually lithium ion because they're metal cased. And they fit in there. But I'll have to do something to link them up to the right position. technically that would work, but these are labelled 650 milliamp hour, 3.7 volt, and this one's 1020 milliamp hour. So it doesn't last very long on that, so it's going to last even less time on that. So yeah, we'll forget that for now. We'll go back to plan A. See if I can get some little metal plates to go around there and solder on a lead, and then probably put a bit of tape around it to hold it all in place. Yeah, okay. Just thinking back to these, I could put 2 or 3 or 4 of them in parallel, so that 650 milliamp hour, 1200, 1800, 2400. If I put 4 in parallel, then we could just sit that on top and plug it in. It's a thought. Right, I found some suitable thin plate. It's actually off another battery. So I shall solder my GST leads onto there and then bend them into place. There's no point in trying to solder them there, or the 3D printing PLA will just melt. So we'll solder them on and then put them in place. There we go. And there we are, in position, just held in by hand, and with an external 1S battery. So you probably can't see that at all, can you? Because the sunlight's on the screen. But yeah, that appears to work. The only thing I'm not happy with is there's actually a little bit of slop in there, a bit more than I'd intended. That could do with being a millimetre longer. So I might print it again and take those contacts out. Which I did. Use the soldering iron when it was switched off but still warm, just to seal them in position. So that's annoying. So they're nicely in position, but when it's pushed fully home, it could actually do with, as I say, about another centimetre in length. I came up with an alternative rather than reprinting it. I warmed up the end of my pliers and squeezed it tight. So that's made it bulge out this way, and that's extended it just the tiny little bit I wanted to take up the slack. So now we're there. Cool, that's a bit tight. So I'll make a little hole in the case, whatever I've done with that. Just enough to let us get the leads out. There. There we are, all set up. That lipo cell there is the one good cell out of a 3S lipo that died on me. So that's a 1S lipo, rather large one, and I've got it set up for motion capture. So if I run my hand in front of it, there we go, it starts recording. You probably can't see the screen anyway. Yeah, it does about 10 seconds. And I've got it pointing sort of up at the sky, so we might catch a few birds flying over, just to give it a test. It's not high resolution, I think it's 1080 by 720. So we'll have a look in a little while. Yes, I could have done it much easier. I could have just used an external power bank to go into the power supply. But I just rather fancied having a go at doing that, see if I could make a dummy battery and link it to an external battery. And that's what I've done. Oh, and modified my cheap tripod so it's upside down. Right, well, I expect there'll be no birds flying over now, so we'll get nothing. We'll see. There we go, starts recording. You probably can't see the screen anyway. Thanks for watching. You'll find more information down in the video description. You might like to watch that video up there, and you might like to subscribe over there.